Now with the web management tool, it's not only providing access control, it also will keep state on a user or provide a single sign-on capability for the user. And that means if, let's say that you log into your online banking account. First you go to the website for the bank. Now, you're just looking at public information, store hours, rates on CDs, and at that point, you don't have to authenticate because it's just public information. Now, when you actually hit go to my account, then the web server, the actual web management software, is configured so that it actually has to set up a secure connection with that user, with that browser, and now it's going to keep state on this connection, which means it allows for single sign-on capability. Single sign-on means that the user just has to present one set of credentials and then they can access different resources. So in our example, let's say that you say, I want to go to my account. Then the web server is actually going to set up an SSL connection with your browser. Once that's set up, it's going to ask for your credentials. So you'll send over your credentials, maybe it's username and password. Then the web server is going to pass it off, your credentials, to a database to make sure that you sent that in and that you could have access. It'll come back, the web server will say, yep, you can have access, and then show, let's say, your checking account. Now, this communication is actually taking place over HTTP, which is a protocol that is stateless. And stateless means that web servers, when you go to a regular web server, you make a request for a page, the web server sends over the page and forgets all about you. It doesn't keep any information, it doesn't remember that you accessed it. And HTTP was developed specifically for that and a stateless, because web servers are hit all the time and they're usually just serving up web pages, so it would take too much resources for the web server to keep track of all the users who are asking for website pages. So HTTP is stateless. Now, when there needs to be a connection that is kept, which means if you have a single sign-on set up with the website, that has to keep state. That means that connection has to stay there. The server has to remember and keep track of what you're doing. So once you send over your credentials, what's going to happen is there's going to be a little cookie that's created, which is actually like a text file. The web server is going to send that cookie back to your browser, and it's going to it'll stay in memory in your browser. Now, let's say you're looking at checking. Now you want to go and look at your savings, and the web server is like, whoa, you can't. We have to make sure you have access to this. And the web server will make a request to that cookie to see if you are authenticated and to what level. And then it'll allow you to go into the look at your savings. The web server will actually continuously look or probe this cookie to make sure there's no man in the middle, to make sure that somebody else isn't actually hijack the session. So it's going to continually check the cookie to make sure that you are who you say you are and you've already properly authenticated. And that's what it means to keep state. It's tracking exactly what that user is doing. So whatever you do, deposits, withdrawals, looking at different accounts, it's going to make audit trails of all of that, and it's going to remember and track all that you do. So that's what it means to keep state. And so again, the web management access is commonly a component in the whole identity management enterprise solution, because the outside users are usually coming in through the web server farms. And they we want them maybe to have a single sign-on so that they don't have to keep authenticating for the different resources they want. And then we'll have a different technology for the users that are internal to the network and not use the web management access component.